Hi, everybody. Welcome back to WorkTech. I'm George LaRocque, and we've got some big news in the industry. Again, there was another announcement of an acquisition, this time WilsonHCG, the global RPO, executive search, contingent talent, and talent consulting firm, announced the acquisition of Claro, the talent and workforce analytics intelligence platform. It's such an interesting deal. I'm really excited to learn more about how this will work moving forward. And I'm excited that today we are going to be able to dig in with both firms' CEOs. We've got John Wilson, the CEO of WilsonHCG, and Michael Beygelman, the CEO of Claro. Welcome.
Thanks for having us, George.
Yeah, thanks, George. Nice to see you all.
Yeah, it's good to see you both. And so for those that don't know WilsonHCG or Claro, I'd love for you each to give a quick intro of yourselves and each entity. John, we'll start with you.
Perfect. Thank you. So WilsonHCG, as George mentions, global RPO and talent firm. We're based in Tampa, Florida, with offices all over the world. We support clients in 65 countries. Our goal is, how do we make our clients better? And part of that was partnering with Michael. And so I'll turn it over to you, Mike.
Yeah, thanks, John. Claro is a global workforce intelligence, labor market intelligence platform, like George alluded to. We help customers answer real-time questions around who's hiring and how much they're paying, and what skills are trending and what the workforce of the future is going to look like globally. The pandemic kind of shifted the landscape. Data has become the new currency, and we found ourselves sort of square in the middle of the value proposition. And so we basically help clients answer real-time questions about labor market trends.
Yeah. I mean, you're one of the reasons this deal makes so much sense. I mean, you're both right on the pulse of what's happening in the space right now. We're all talking about how to find talent, how to keep talent, how to analyze what's happening, where is this going. So I'm excited to dig in here, and let's get right into it. So to start out, I'm curious to get your perspectives. Like, we've alluded to it a little bit here, but like what was happening in the market that brought you two together to look at joining forces?
Sure. I think Michael first pitched Claro, at the time was called Jobberate, back to me in a hotel lobby in 2014 or 15. And I thought it was really interesting because it was giving actionable analytics, even in its earliest form, for leaders inside companies of how to action items with people and potentially how to retain staff, which was highly interesting to me even back then. And now, as it has evolved, we are using Claro, and not just at acquisition or post, but for the last few years, really in almost every decision we make, and as it relates to talent acquisition. So we're really excited to bring Michael and his team into the fold.
Cool. And Michael, from your perspective, what on a trajectory scaling Claro, why now? What made this the decision to make now?
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm very honest with myself. It's, for those who have known me, I'm almost brutally honest with myself. And I looked at, we built really great tech. And so, my dream is like, how does every company use this? And that was like a really big question. And if you look at the landscape, and George, you cover it, right? Capital is fuel. And distribution is fuel. And for a really great software company, you really need access to take it to market, right? And you can do that either directly or indirectly. And we had such a great partnership with Wilson, HCG and John. They were probably one of the most sophisticated users of the product, that it was almost like a natural extension to say, how do we like completely shortcut the process and get Claro out to market at mass? And to me, it was really, really attractive because, we already had a built-in partner that really understood how the product worked, global coverage, 30, 40 countries, right? Distribution, all that. And plus, really understanding how the product works and the value proposition. So it was almost like a natural next step for me to think about, like, hey, this would be a really good partnership to help Claro reach the market faster.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's you got to know each other really well and understand the fit. To take that concept a little further, thinking about John, you've had Claro in the market with clients, so the other side of that partnership, and how now that Claro is part of Wilson, how do you see it impacting your offerings? Like, will there be a change, or do you have? I know it's early, but do you have any ideas for where you might take this to impact your service offerings?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's going to be significant investment into Claro and how we're able to, as Michael mentioned, scale globally. And George, as you know better than anybody, the market is constantly changing and evolving, and making sure that we're either setting that pace or really close to staying ahead or in the lead of it is mission critical for us. So if I said, hey, George, here's the roadmap for the next 5 years, I bet you 80% of that would be wrong and incorrect by the time we sat down in 5 years. So what I can say is we're going to invest heavily in Claro. We believe in it. We believe in Michael and the team, and really, really excited for what the future is going to hold with the product.
Yeah. So so how do you see the product? It sounds like it'll be embedded in all of your engagements, or is this a distinct offering for your customers? Just out of, or do you know yet?
Yeah, great question. I think obviously we will be utilizing Claro and having it as an offering embedded in our services and solutions. However, we would not limit Claro to be able to sell out to the market. And I think that's an important piece for Michael and the Claro team to reach their goals, is being able to be in even clients that we don't have. And I think by doing that, it just helps all of us learn how an expert usage versus novice, and then where those gaps are, to how we can make it as user friendly as possible, as effective for everyone that's utilizing it.
Okay. Cool. So there's a lot of upside there for Wilson customers. And, your team is probably reaping the benefits of Claro in every engagement, whether the customer's realizing it or not. But Michael, so how does what does that mean for existing Claro customers as you look forward?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. This is, John and I kind of been talking about it for the last couple of years, right? Our tech is kind of tip of the spear, if you know what I mean, in terms of like market penetration, right? It's not a lagging technology, it's an emerging technology. Mm-hmm. So we get to see things before they become trends, George, right? Right, wrong, or indifferent. This is kind of the blessing and the curse of being the tip of the spear in tech. And what we've kind of seen, and I think this is kind of segue into the answer for how they may benefit. And despite like what you read on LinkedIn and the press releases, at the end of the day, big companies, let's say Fortune 1000, right? I don't even want to limit it to Fortune 100. Even let's say the 3,000 top companies, right? At the end of the day, a very small percentage of them have actual infrastructure to be able to leverage talent data, right? Because we talk to clients all the time. They're either thinking about building teams, or the teams are emerging. And at the end of the day, the limiting factor for scalable distribution of talent intelligence isn't the tech. It's the company's ability to consume the tech, action the tech, and get value out of the tech, right? And we've been talking about this for a couple of years. So the opportunity for an organization to be able to get tech and get a turnkey solution to be able to action the tech allows them to save 2 to 3 years off their own development cycles, right? Because things are in big companies. You start a project, it's going to take you 12 months to onboard a team and get them acclimated and all this stuff here. So, I think one of the benefits is in the partnership, there are many, but one interesting benefit is the ability to have kind of like a turnkey on-demand talent intelligence service, right? That companies can action now, not 2 years from now. So I think this is like, really huge from an internal, client perspective from our side, and also from future go-to-market. And then the ability just to really kind of accelerate things. Like this is the most important thing. Like, how do we accelerate the buying process? How do we accelerate the implementation process? And what I call realization to value. Does that make sense? So I think this is where the partnership really just kind of blows it out.
Yeah. You said a lot there, but I mean, one of the things that really resonates everywhere I go, there's a lot of talk about sort of total talent and, from recruiting to internal mobility and the talent marketplace concept. And one of the big missing ingredients across the board is the labor market data that would inform your recruiting decisions, as well as that whatever paths you're creating or changes you're making internally, right? If you're shuffling employees around, which is a good thing, and putting them on a path and moving them forward, it creates vacancies. And and it's not just about like, rinse and repeat on job postings. You need to understand, with a longer view, like what's the impact of these decisions, of this direction that we have? Where is the talent? So that's why I think, and having the expertise of Wilson there, as you've both said, the sort of expert users, that's why this deal just, right away when I saw it, it made so much sense.
I would just add one more thing too, because it's top of mind. I want to make sure I say this, is that John actually clicked on a point that we should double click on. The real value is integrating what's happening with what will happen, right? It's this intersection. Like what's happening comes from your internal HRS systems, right? Be it Workday or whatever, UKG, pick one, it doesn't matter, right? So you have the data about like what happened, that's reporting. Right. The thing, it's like what is happening, what will happen, that's where you get like the real value, right? So it's like really interesting in that being able to integrate the reporting data with the external labor market data, which John and the team do exceedingly well. This is like the aha, right? This is kind of like the value creation. And so this is where the synergy really comes in. It's just to kind of bring the internal data, the external data, and not just about the hiring, but the retention piece and all that. So it's really interesting.
Yeah.
George, I think that for the last 10 to 15 years, data has been such a big part of talent acquisition and HR functions, but so much of that data is reactive. And there's so much that you can tell you what happened, but you don't see very much data that is going to tell you what will happen. And I think that's what we're going to be able to bring to our clients and the market in general.
Yeah. So one of the, a little question, but as we're talking about this, John, who are your target customers? How would you describe your ideal customer profile?
Companies want to get better.
Okay.
I think that's probably number one. And I say that because, we have, I mean, 5 of the top 15 largest companies in the world, and we have a few, tech startups that are 5 years old that are shooting to the moon. It really boils down to, is this company committed to getting better? And are they committed to getting better with talent?
Okay. That's a good answer. So shifting gears a little bit, what does this mean? I think one of the constituencies, we always talk about the deal, and we talk about the market and customers, all important. But what about employees? Like, what does this mean for Wilson, the team at Wilson, as this acquisition moves forward?
I think this is only added benefit and tools for current Wilson employees. We are retaining everybody at Claro. We feel like there's going to be a lot of additions to that staff. But yeah, it's a net positive, I think, across the board. And I think it's the ability that sometimes tech, especially in the stage that Michael Claro has been, it's you're careful not to try too many things, because maybe one of them doesn't work. we're in a stage where we can try a few things and really make the product something that we're all really proud of.
So it sounds like, it's a great addition. It's gonna help everyone be more effective. You mentioned investment in continued investment in Claro. You mentioned growth. You think that team might grow. So Michael, on the Claro side, it sounds like a lot of opportunity and upside for your team.
Yeah, it's great. We were benefiting from some of that upside just this morning.
Okay.
To be honest, it's great to have support in marketing, collateral. It's great to have supporting in bids. One of the things that we're starting to see is a little bit of maturation. We're starting to see like RFPs and RFQs for this kind of thing. And
Okay.
George, you've been in the space, once you start seeing formalized buying processes, you're now starting to say, okay, this is really something that's got a lot of momentum. So, to be able to leverage a bid team with the kind of experience that WilsonHCG team has on a global basis is amazing. From due diligence for clients, it's all these things that have to happen when an enterprise buys software that requires resources. So for us, we have, it's like a marriage. You immediately gain a whole huge family, right?
Yeah.
So there's this like family and tribe of people that are really excited about helping you. And so we're really excited about that in the immediate term. And then in the outlook, as John had alluded to, we'll continue to focus on tech and, be a really good software company.
Cool. And now I think I saw that you've got a new role and title, which makes sense. Am I right about that?
Yeah, it's the first time I've changed my LinkedIn profile in like 8 years. It felt really weird. I'm like, wow, am I allowed to do this? I think I actually emailed John. I'm like, can I change my profile? We kind of blink and some time goes by. I'll be the EVP of product, for WilsonHCG. This is sort of the immediate, and I'll fill in my LinkedIn section over time. How about that?
Yeah. So we have a lot of operators in the audience, as well as HR and talent leaders, and stepping back and thinking about, just the making an acquisition. I'm curious, John, what do you look for when you make an acquisition? And maybe you can connect some of those dots to Claro. I know you put a couple bits out there already, but how do you approach an acquisition?
Yeah. So the first question is this going to make us better or our clients better? And once that's answered, the second piece is, what's our runway if we did this together? Or is it going to make both companies better? Or are we going to do something that we're really happy about, really proud of? And third, and probably most important this is our, I think, fourth acquisition we've done, is just the cultural piece of it. The cultures of the two organizations match? Because regardless of if we're buying a technology company or a company that's half a world away, if the cultural pieces, the collaboration, the integrity of the stakeholders, all those things match up, it typically makes for a successful acquisition.
Yeah, well said. And Michael, you talked earlier about the partnership and how you could see this value. Anything that you'd add around those thoughts from your side as you were thinking about an exit?
Yeah, the thing that John and I were aligned on from the first second was like, fit for us was the number one criteria as we went through the process, because ultimately, it's what you do the day after. Right. It's not what happens on the day. It's what you do the day after. And the day after is really important. And so for us, fit was huge because, we didn't finish the book. We just finished the first chapter. Right. Now we're on to chapter 2. And if the fit's not right, you never finish the book. So for us, fit was really the number 1, 2, and 3 criteria. John and the team kind of had us at hello. So I'll leave it at that.
All right. Well, that's a great place to end it. I want to thank you both for being here and allowing us to help tell your story to the market. Congratulations to you and both of your teams. And really, thanks for your time. I know how busy you are.
Thank you, George. Really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Do well. Cheers. Bye-bye.